Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first coaching session of the new fiscal year. Today, we're going to go over what the Arts Commission, what grant programs we offer for this upcoming year, and then also just a little bit more on how to create an account and within the grants portal, and a little bit more about how we go through the grants portal and what each piece means. So, all right, we're going to do a little screen share here. All right. Everyone see that okay? All right. And Kathy is going to be presenting on our grant programs that we're offering for this year.
Okay, so as you can see, we have three kind of distinct areas for our grant programs, serving artists, organizations, and our education track, which is for school district schools and for arts teachers. So just basically to kind of go over our artists portfolio that we have for grants is we have the Emerging Artists Grant, which is a grant category for artists that are new or have, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Amber, they're also could be new to their medium that they're using, right? So if they've,
that's correct.
Yeah.
They'll have 1 to 5 years of experience.
So that's that group, and they would be working very closely with our artist program director throughout that project, which is a 6-month project, and they would be meeting regularly once a month with the arts program director throughout that grant period. And let me see, that is the Emerging Artists. Arts Ventures Initiative is for business ventures, for artists to help build the artists' businesses, and that is for a business venture that is up to $5,000 for that. And then there is also for a one-time purchase of equipment or something like that, which is less than the 5,000. Amber, do you remember the total on that?
We do have $3,500, I believe, for one-time purchase.
That's it. Thank you. Okay, then our individual artist fellowships, which we have we offer annually. They are $5,000 per a fellowship. We offer 4 fellowships within different disciplines, and not the same disciplines are offered each year. They're rotated through, and that is all on our guidelines of what those are that we're accepting. And that grant will be opening in the fall, along with many of the others. I think Emerging Artists is scheduled to open in the fall as for a second half of the year grant period. And Artist Ventures also starts in the fall. It starts with a letter of intent or an application of intent to apply. It is the only grant category that has the letter of intent to apply, or an application with intent to apply. And then you go into a full application once you are selected to move on to the next stage of that grant category. Traditional arts apprenticeships. And we have our program director for traditional arts apprenticeships here. So Laura, would you like to talk a little bit about the traditional arts apprenticeship process?
Sure, thanks, Kathy. Yeah, so the Traditional Arts Apprenticeship Initiative is a program through which traditional artists, mentor artists, are able to work one-on-one with an apprentice for the period of a year. And this is, the way it works is that people who are interested in applying for this category contact me, usually by around the mid-February each year, to let me know of their interest in applying for this. And then we talk about eligibility to confirm that they're eligible. And then rather than have people fill out an application online, we actually interview you, and we will share the questions in advance so you'll know what to expect. But these are very much come from the heart questions about your practice, your artistic practice, your cultural tradition. And then we process the application for you. So it's a nice way of working together. And then throughout the apprenticeship, we visit with you once and then do the final report the same way. So if people are interested, this is a great way to keep traditions alive and well in cultural communities. Examples are this year we have we're going to have apprenticeship in Burundian tailoring, crazy quilting, and old time bluegrass banjo and newgrass mandolin. So it's a range.
Thanks, Laura. It's always nice to hear directly from our program directors to give a little bit more in-depth background on the programs. And then we'll close out the artist portfolio with the arts project support grants. The art project support grants for fiscal year 22 will be opening up in August for projects that are happening between September of 2021 through May of 2022. And those are, we're still kind of working on the funding range for that category. Currently, they have been at 1,000, but we are hoping to increase that, particularly now that we have our budget in place. So please stay tuned for that and check back to the guidelines to check on that funding amount. But those, you apply for any project that you have during that grant period. You can apply for up to 6 weeks prior to. You do not have to wait 6 weeks prior to apply for a project that you have, but you can up to 6 weeks. But beyond, if you're less than 6 weeks out from when your project starts, then you're no longer fitting the period for applying for support for a grant for your project. But again, you can apply anytime. If you know now that you have a project in the spring, and when we open up, you want to go ahead and apply and be sure that you are secured that funding, then you can do that. You don't have to wait till 6 weeks out. And we highly recommend that you do apply as soon as you know that you have a project that you want to get some support from us that fits the arts project support, and that you would like to seek funding for. Earlier the better for getting that secured for your projects. In organizations, we have accessibility, and accessibility grants are for programs or facility upgrades that you want to do that are making your programs and your facilities accessible to those with disabilities. And that is, again, it's in our rolling grant category category. So it is the 6 weeks prior to your project starting is the minimum that you have to apply. That gives us, we need that 6 weeks to get your application in and review it for completeness, and then evaluate it and do awards and let contracts and all that prior to getting your project starting. So that's why we need that 6 weeks prior to, and doing anything less than that really does kind of make it difficult to get that contract out before your project starts. So so you can apply for that. That is for funding up to $2,500. Again, that one's planning is expected to open on August 1st, and it's going to fund projects from September of 2021 to May of 2022. And the match on that is a 1-to-1, a 1 for grantees and a 1 for the Arts Commission. Then we have our folk life and traditional arts. And again, I think I'm going to defer to Laura, since she's the expert, and let her talk about the folk life projects.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. Yeah, so folk life and traditional arts organizational project grants. This is open to nonprofits, 501c3 organizations. The deadline is typically in mid-March, and then we open up, the applications several months before that. And this grant is for up to $6,000 with a one-to-one match. And the idea here is to support traditional arts projects. And we have a range of things that people apply for. The specific, the detailed guidelines you can see on our website, but things like youth arts residencies or arts residencies, concerts, exhibits, documentation. You're interested in documenting traditional arts. There could be funding for acquisition if you're a museum, for example, of hard to find materials, field work, just a range. But the idea here is to support traditional arts throughout the state of South Carolina through a variety of activities. And we always encourage that especially if you're a first-time grant applicant, that you contact us and let us know about your project, and we're happy to provide advanced review of your application ahead of time. So.
Thank you, Laura. And I will state too that that opportunity that will be coming up later this year for you to apply will actually be for projects that are happening in our fiscal year 2023 that would start on July 1 of 2022. So just the period for getting funding for this fiscal year has passed, but that will be available to you for the next fiscal year. The same goes for several of the other categories that are coming up. The Arts Education Project, that one has passed for 2022, but if you are interested, if you have a project and you're interested in applying for funding coming in 2023, that application will open up this fall or winter, early winter, and that is for funding up to $15,000 for a project. And the match for that is also the one-to-one match. So that's a good project. The purpose of that is to provide funds for projects and programs that use the arts to meet educational development and social needs of K through 12 students. A lot of these are sometimes summer camps or after school programs, working with the schools in advancing their in the education with residencies and things like that. So that is that category. We have both general operating support and operating support for small organizations are our two categories of operating support. And we will be accepting new applications for FY23. We haven't accepted anybody new into this group for the last year or two, including this current fiscal year of 2022 that we just started today. But we will be accepting applications for new organizations that are new to operating support, and that'll be coming in this fall to winter to apply for a spring review for getting funding in that. There is not operating support for small organizations is up to $2,500 per grant year. It is a 2-year cycle. So you apply once and you get 2 years of funding at $2,500 each year with a new contract issued each year and a final report due each year for that grant program. And then general operating support does not have a funding limit. It is a formula that is based on your rating and your expenses, your total expenses. And that is a 3-year program. Oh, and operating support for small organizations, I forgot to mention, is limited to up to $75,000 of your cash expense budget. 75,000. So if you're over 75,000, you can only apply in general operating support, which is a 3-year grant. And it is a more intensive grant application than operating support for small organizations is. Arts project support, again, I talked about that in the artist, and it's the same. It is a 6-week program. I mean, it's a program that you apply 6 weeks prior to your grants project starting date, or your project starting date. Again, like I said, in the artist, you don't have to wait until 6 weeks before your project date. If you know of a project way in advance, then go ahead and apply and get that funding secured for your project. And this category is not available if you are receiving operating support from us in that fiscal year that you want to apply, unless you're applying for professional development. And then as an operating support applicant, you can come in for an arts project support grant. Subgranting is our category for local arts agencies that can apply to get up to $10,000 and use for granting out to artists and organizations within their community as a re-granting. And this is one that you need to get approval prior to applying for that category. That we want to make sure that you are eligible, and it does. Your granting program needs to align with what we do with our arts project support to be a sub-grant site. Presenting and performing arts, I'm not 100% sure that we're offering that this year. I think that's going to depend on our budget, and so we just kind of got that budget secured, and so we haven't had that conversation yet. But this category does offer the opportunity for organizations that present or have performing arts to apply for funding to bring an artist outside of their community into their community for a performance. And I think, Amber, do you remember the cap on that? Is it up to?
I believe it was up to $2,500 before, but definitely look back to our guidelines once we are able to post those, and possibly we'll have some updates regarding that, but definitely refer back to our website. I also wanted to mention before we close out this category for organizations, it's organizations and also units of government for these grants that are stated here.
Yes. Thank you, Amber. Okay, so now our final portfolio of grants is for education. So we have the district arts support. And that grant will be for coming up. Availability will be for FY23 to apply. And it is funding up to $25,000 a year to support programs throughout your school district. And that is a 2-to-1 match, meaning for every dollar that the Arts Commission puts in, the school district needs to match that with $2. So that'll be coming up, opening up again for a spring panel review panel. ABC advancement, and I highly recommend on all of these education grants that you contact our program director, Catherine Intube, and get advisement before coming into these, because the district arts support grant is a heavy lift. There's a lot that you need to do, like a strategic plan and all of that, and have that in place to really show that you are providing the arts, and that you have a arts integrated into the curriculum in your school district before you can actually apply for that. The ABC advancement grants, you have to be a certified ABC site. So you have to go through the ABC certification process prior to coming into a grant. That funding is up to $15,000 a year. And again, that will be open. The application deadline will be, well, the application will be open in the winter for a spring review. But again, you have to go through a certification process. And all of that information is on our ABC project website. Arts teacher support is a small grant to provide funds to teachers for buying art supplies, residencies, that kind of thing. It is up to $1,200. It again is a program that you can apply for throughout the year. You can have up to 2 grants, which also in arts project support, you can get up to 2 grants for different projects, not for the same project, but for different projects, you can get up to 2 grants in one fiscal year. That match is a 1 to 2, meaning for every $1 that the grantee puts in, the Arts Commission will put in $2. If you are qualify for Title I funding, then the match is waived. There's no match for Title I funded schools. That again is anytime throughout the year. You need to apply 6 weeks prior to the big project begin date, but you can apply anytime that you are aware prior to that 6 weeks that you know that you have a project you want to take care to have funding for. And finally, the arts education projects. This again will be for funding. The opportunity that's coming available in FY22 is for funding for FY23 arts education projects. And I think, yeah, I talked about that also over here under the organizations. So I don't think I will go any further on the arts education projects. And that is really what we have available for our portfolio for this year, FY22. And if you need to have advisement, or you're interested in any of our grants for artists, please contact C. Scott Fitz, and there's her contact information, her email, and she will be glad to help you find the right fit for your project. If you are an organization or within the education, then contact Catherine Intubay, and she can really assist you and help you in finding the right fit for your organization, your project, or your school, or whatever. And as you got to hear from Laura Green, she will be happy to advise you on the folk life and traditional art grants programs. And then we also have Susan Duplessis, who works with our community arts, and and local arts agencies. So if you're interested in a subgranting grant, then you need to talk to Susan Duplessis and make sure that that's a right fit for you before you go through that process and find out at the end that you're not a good fit. It's not a good fit. We don't want you to unnecessarily go through that work. And then if you have any questions, that especially technical questions on how to apply, and Amber is going to be going over here briefly shortly, our grants portal and how to get around in that, and that's our platform for receiving our applications. But if you have any questions concerning that or the process, you can always contact the grants team, and that would be me and Amber at grants@arts.sc.gov.
Awesome. Thanks, Kathy,
Thank
for
you.
going all over those wonderful grant opportunities that we have. And again, I'll just reiterate, grant guidelines all located at our website, which I'm going to go ahead and head over to just to help get a better idea, so it's already open. So you'll end up on this screen. You can all see our website there. All right. We have the grants tab here. If you click on the grants tab, that will pull up all the grants that we do offer, but you can now go to our grants portal login by just clicking that. You don't have to go through all the different little wonderful ways we had it before, but again, all roads will lead to a login page. So do not fret. So we'll go ahead and just do all grants for right now, so you guys can see what that does look like. You'll scroll down here. You have the ability to go ahead and filter through what is applicable to you or what you may be eligible for. But if you do go ahead and click on one, we do have just a brief summary there of our deadlines, our funding, matching requirements. And then to kind of learn more, you'll go and you'll find out application deadlines, purpose, funding, and then more information as you go on. If you do ever need a refresher on who is your best person to contact, let me see if I'll go to the other one, because as we did say before, this one we will be working on reopening. Let's go to our Arts Project Support Grants, and we'll tell you who's best to contact through here. But again, as an artist, and there you go, see Scott Fitz and her information, organization, Catherine Entube here. And then of course us, if you have any issues, technical teams, but plenty of reminders all throughout our website. So we'll go ahead here. When you do click on the grants portal login, you'll go ahead and come to this login page here. And you want to make sure to click create new account. If you have any questions about, hey, maybe there is an account that is already created for us, please do not hesitate to contact us, and you can call us here directly so that we can just check for you, and then we can add you as a new contact to the already existing organization profile, that account. Once you do click on create a new account, all of this will pop up for you. We'll need all this information, name. This is the one opportunity you'll be able to add your tax ID here, but afterwards we can always help you add that in after the fact. Your organization email address, other information, your institution, applicant status, primary discipline. If you have any questions on those three, we can help you with that. We also do have resources to help you create a DUNS number if you don't already have one. As we walk through those, the next thing we will need from you is your House and State Legislative District. And then you'll see we have a resource located, a link there in blue that you can click on and go search by your address. Street address, city, and zip code to find your legislators. Your legislators will be located here on the bottom. Just please make sure to double check which one is your Senate district and which one is your House district. But again, if you have any questions on that, we are happy to answer as you go through this new account form. Next, as you click over here through after you've put in your organization's information, or you as the artist, your information, will want to make sure to do that again for your user information. So this is the contact, someone who's going to manage grants or be a primary contact for your organization. You'll put that information here. We do have the first name, last name. You do have options for middle name, a suffix, business title. We must get an email, a good email for you, because this will be your username when you log in to the grants portal. And please make sure to double check that, especially if you thought you included a space, because it will bounce back. So make sure to triple check that, not just double check, but triple check. And then we do have the daytime and mobile number. We do offer now preferred pronouns are also available here. Sorry, we do have to update this photo, but that is available and you can add those in. We do have address and city, and then just everything else there. Okay, and we do have that. Okay, whoop. There we go. So you'll be asked if you are the authorized official for the organization. And you'll just click yes or no to that. If it is no, this is your opportunity to go ahead and add the authorized official to that. And most of the time, I'll reiterate this for schools, the authorized official will be the principal for your school, and you can add them in here. But if you did not do that, that's okay. Contact us. We can add them after the fact. Not a problem. All right. And so then finally, you'll come to creating your password. We do have some little suggestions here. Again, must be at least 6 characters containing those symbols, and then create account. So we'll go ahead and show you what a created account looks like. This is what you'll come to on your applicant dashboard. You may not have anything here because you're brand new. It's okay. You won't see anything here, but that's all right. At the top here is a home button. This will always bring you back to your applicant dashboard. It'll always reset it for you. This is where you will apply for grants, but then also the organization history is here. And you don't need to worry about this. Next file. But apply button, you definitely will be using, hopefully, a lot to go ahead and apply for more grants. You can always edit your applicant information here, your contact information, or the organization's information over here by clicking these little pencils. And then, of course, when you do get historical requests, so old grants that have been closed or anything like that, they'll all live there. So when you go over to apply, right now, we are still working on getting everything ready. So here you will find our application processes. When things do pop up, we'll have a brief summary here of some, especially our rolling grants. When it comes time, and we'll always have in the right-hand corner of that box when that application, the date of when it will be available for you to then click the blue apply button and go through the application. So let's see here. We have this access code. You don't really need to worry about this unless you do get a restricted access grant, which you will always receive an official email from us with further information on that. Let's see, Kathy, is there anything open currently within our system? Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
Yep, I'm muted. Okay. There's nothing available right at this moment that's not an restricted grant.
Okay.
So, and we have an attendee, so I'm going to let Cedric in.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
I've been told it's pronounced Cedric.
Cedric. Okay. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the person that I invited.
Oh, good.
Perfect. Well, I'll go over here. Let me see. We'll go back over as a login page. I just like to, we always like to reiterate our grant support and resources that we do offer. Again, this is the monthly grants coaching session we do offer every first Thursday of every month, and our topics are located within that chart on our grants coaching page. We have application open call sessions. We have our FAQ that's also help for any questions you have. We has video tutorials and PDF guides. and then one-on-one Zoom calls with the grants team, where you can choose 15-minute and 30-minute time slots. We always just like to give our email again, grants@arts.sc.gov, with any questions you may have. If you would like not to call us, but we do also have that option. Just like to go through it a little bit here. If you need a little bit more in depth on some of our previous tutorials that we do have one that is step-by-step creating a profile for first-time applicants. You can always refer back to this video here. And we go through organization versus individual artist. Again, that tax identification number, if you do have a fiscal receiver, the DUNS number, and then any other customized fields. Right. And I also love to mention, as it is application season, we understand that there is more than one person that may be working on an application at a time. Utilizing our collaborator feature, where you can add someone to collaborate on your application, that is a step-by-step guide right there. You can always link to that video. All right, and again, our one-on-one sessions with the grants team. And so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and stop share. And if anyone has any questions, we're happy to answer.
I have a question.
Sure.
I'm curious about the emerging artist grants. You mentioned that there's, you'll be working closely with that the artist services director, Scott Fitz. Is that also a cohort? In other words, with those meetings, do they feature other grantees in the same category, or one-on-one?
They do. They do one-on-one meetings, and they also have a cohort where there's meetings where all the artists do participate and will work with each other.
Cool.
And I believe on some of the meetings, C has stated that she brings in outside guests, ones that are specific in business, but then also like other artists, just to kind of help a little bit more of that mentoring.
Thanks. That sounds great.
Sure.
I was also curious if we know when the arts project support grant guidelines will open up.
Sure. Kathy, would you like to speak on that?
Thanks. That's a great question. We are currently working on those. We are a bit behind in getting things out there this year. We've had some with, again, the pandemic, and we had the Arts Emergency Relief Grant Program in the spring, and then just massive closeout. So we are behind. We are working on those. They will be coming out soon. So just keep posted. But yeah, they will be up no later than August 1st, but hopefully prior to that.
Okay, that's great. Thanks. No, I understand.
And that goes for the accessibility grants guidelines and the arts teacher support guidelines as well. They all should be up no later than August 1st, but hopefully before that.
I will say, just to help those out who we do have those guidelines from our previous fiscal year for accessibility and arts project support available, and also our arts teacher support. We have some changes that will be coming up for arts project support for sure. So to definitely refer to those back when it opens, but definitely go ahead, look through the ones we have. It will help you just kind of get a better idea to get things together for when that does open. And not too many changes,
Yeah, but accessibility and the arts teacher support are basically the same. So you can go ahead and start looking at that. The review criteria has not changed in those, so that'll give you a sense. But those updates will be coming soon.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for participating today. We have a few more monthly topic sessions scheduled. We want to remind everyone how to register for those by going to our monthly topic session within our grants coaching page. You'll click register for a monthly topic session, and that will register you for all of the sessions coming up. We have August, what comes next after you've been awarded? Contract packets and everything to do with contract packets. September, we'll have payments and payment requests. And then on October, we'll have application questions and answers. So we really look forward to participation in these calls and answering any questions you have. So thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great week.